Well, good good afternoon from the sunny side of Sydney. Um, the 8th of May, year of our Lord 2020. Well, what an experience today. Wow. Had to take my mum to the doctor, so we went to the hospital. That was exciting. Been checked for body temperature within 2 minutes of its shutdown. So I went up first to the main entrance, so they take your temperature. I was obviously within the normal because they didn't tackle me to the ground and put a respirator on me. So the next thing, so then they give you a pink. Oh yeah, then you go over to a guy who sits at a table with a little sanitizer bottle in front and all these pink dots on a sticker and says, ask me all the question. Have I been in contact? Have I coughed, sneezed, whatever? Have I been overseas? And I go, nope. So I could lie, but I didn't because it's true. Anyway, so you get the pink sticker, you put that on your chest, and then you go up to the next floor, to the doctor's offices or chambers, basically, because you have an interview with a specialist, and that's for my mum. And then they take your temperature again. The receptionist sits there, and they have two people on either side on a table, 1.5 meters apart, with a mask, and asking the same questions that the guys downstairs asked you. So, a little bit over the top, perhaps. Anyway, so I went into the doctor, blah, blah, blah. And then while I was in with the doctor, I chatted to him, and I just, he sort of realised I knew a bit about anatomy and about medicine. And he asked my jobs I did, and I said, oh, yeah, I was just a driver, just a grunt. But I told him I was an athlete at some point, and I have always interest in the body, and so I'm always aware of what's going on. So anyway, we chatted, and he definitely agreed that the virus is, that's right, bogus. Anyway, so he just, we chatted, and I said, how can that be? And he go, what? So I'm going to live my life. Oh, yeah, so before that, I noticed he had a rucksack, and I could see what type of rucksack it was, and I said, oh, you're right. And then he said, oh, how do you know? I said, oh, I just saw your rucksack sitting there, and then he showed me his riding boots, and I said, oh, yeah. So you take risks, eh? And he goes, no. He said, I take risks because we're meant to. And he says, I've been seeing so many people, young and all, come into my surgery with cancer, and I'm just make you realise that you got to enjoy your life. So upon that, we sort of had a little chat and told him what I thought, and he definitely agreed. Anyway, so that's one. And he's working in the industry, so he needs to make money, he needs to treat people, it's in a private hospital, So he's just complying, which is fine, but he definitely agrees that there is no way you can live your life when you have kids and daughters, whatever. You can't hug your grandmothers or your great-grand-aunts or whatever. He said, yeah, that's not living. And I totally agree, that's not living. So, so anyway, went out and I sat in the waiting room because I had to do paperwork. Sorry, I just have to because there's a little, the sun's just hitting yeah, I'm sunbathing, as you can see. I think it's 1.4 UV, so I can get fried and, I'm not going to burn. Anyway, it's pretty hot sitting on the balcony. I just had an apple cider, which is nice. Bit of alcoholic beverage. Anyway, so going on, I sat there and I just saw this plaque up on the wall in the reception. And it was the Human Rights Commission of the world, and they had this motto about Act 1. You can look it up. And it talks about that we're all born free and that we should be treated with dignity and respected for our decisions and no harm should be done to us and so forth, right? And it's the world's human, what was it, honey? What was it, the Human Act? Anyway, look it up. It's the world, hang on, I'll find it and I'll come back to it. Anyway, so we left there and then we said my mum wanted to go to Coogee. So I said, oh yeah, I'll jump in the car.
Human Rights, Universal Declaration
of
Human Rights.
So, yeah, Pauline, just say, what was it again?
The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Act 1.
Okay. So for all the ones that want to look it up, very interesting. And so far as I can work out in my little brain, everything they do to us breaks every rule of that act. Okay? So there you go. So anyone wants to go and fight me, don't fight me. Go and read it and see why they put it there. Okay, why these human rights acts were put into place. But everybody now decides they're going to throw it away, and they're just willing to become slaves and guinea pigs to drugs and poisons. Anyway, even the doctor agreed that vaccines don't work. He smiled. He goes, I said, there's no vaccine on this earth that works. He agrees. And he knows that for sure that this virus is a hoax. I said, well, you worked it out, doctor. 96 people died from this coronavirus, divided by 25 million. He don't get a very big percentage. He agreed, and he thinks it's over the top. But, he's got to fight his own fight. I'm not telling him anything that he doesn't already know. They're just afraid because, they work in the system. Anyway, so we went to Coogee, couldn't find a park. They closed down the car parks, have signs up saying, exercise only. So I said to my mum, I decided I'll just stuff it. I'll just go to Maroubra. Anyway, so I ended up going to Maroubra. Even there had to drive twice around the car park to find a spot to park my car. Yeah, I know, just go on the sheet. Huh?
Yeah.
And, I just wet it out. It's good. So anyway, so we went there, but it's just... So we're walking on the beach, or, on the, sidewalk, not even on the beach. Next, you hear this over loudspeaker people, an announcement. Those people who are sunbathing on the beach, can you please get up and move along? You're not allowed to do it, And I went, what? I said, I got really aggressive, and I was just walking past a guy who was sitting on the grass, just on the sidewalk, and I just did a Hitler salute. And he smiled, and I said, that's right. There's your Nazism. Welcome to fascist Australia. And I said, I asked the guy, sort of in my passing, I said, when are we going to get off our ass and just give them this and say, up yours, we're not taking it anymore. But no, people are still, they got up, and then as I walked along, next I see these young people they weren't even officers, they were just council employees, okay? Not the brown shirts, the orange shirts now. Go and tell this young girl she had headphones on, sitting underneath a tree in under shade, listening to music or meditating, whatever, getting tapped and said, you got to move along. So she was standing there, and then while I was walking past her, I just said, you don't have to comply. They don't own you. I said, go back, sit down, don't worry about it. Just say no, ignore them. She goes, can I? I said, yeah, you can. So she went back and sat, and I just kept going. But, the park benches have got... I didn't even want to take photos because you can imagine, they had the tape on, like there was a murder committed on that park bench, but people sitting right next to it. So this is what Australia's come to. It's destroyed our beaches, our freedom, and people are still sitting and just taking it. Don't understand. Anyway, so I went to the shop, and then so today I was a bit of a messenger from God. I went and told people about what they should try to do and push back, and I spoke to another lady in Maroubra, and I said, do you like it? And she goes, oh yeah, I don't mind it. He said, at least it's working, there's not that many people around the beach, and it's fantastic. And I said, can I just say something? Do you know there's 6 million people live in Sydney? I said, you can't keep them all locked up. And she agreed. And I said, eventually they will all come out, and there'll be pain, because you can't lock people up and think that it's just going to go away. But people become very selfish. See, they all think, oh, thank God I don't have to put up with a crowd. And so these are the people, like even in England, they've done a survey asking what people think about the lockdown. Over 60% of the people wanted to push the lockout another 18 months in England because they think it's good. Yeah, see, it's only good because they're getting money, and they think they can just stay inside and just enjoy their little freedom at home and wait until the money runs out, because England's been printing money, lots of pounds, same as Australia and America. America's it's planning to do another $2 trillion. That sort of goes up to the $8 trillion. Boy, oh boy. Anyway, so I went to the shop, and then while I was shopping there, I couldn't, watching all these people behave like pork chops anyway, masks on and, distancing anyway. I just ignored it. And then while I was waiting in line, I was just speaking to this lady. I said, how are you enjoying this? You think this is, because she was standing closer. She said, that's all right, come, I don't bite. I said, I'll survive this far. I'm sure we're not going to die. And then she sort of agreed, and then we're just chatting. And I said, you know what they're doing? I said, it's the biggest perpetrating to humanity this century and last century and plus before. It's never been done. And then I sort of showed, I said, oh, have you ever thought how many people really die? I said, under 100 times, divide by 25 million. And she goes, oh, that's a food for thought. I never thought of that. And I said, that's right. Not very many. But they make us do all this lockout and distancing and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. And I told her, I could smell it from a mile because she said that most people in Australia have never experienced it, tyranny. And I said, yeah, that's right. I lived in communism as a child. I can smell it. My mum was there as well, and I said my mum did as well. So we all will know what's going on. Anyway, so we had a chat, and she, got plenty of information out there to make him understand, and there was another person behind her, listening, starting pricking up his ear and all that. See, I just become cheeky, just hint things to people. And that's what everybody has to start doing. If you know this is a hoax and it's taking away all your freedoms, go and talk to people and just give them a bit of information. Why it's a hoax, why it's doing all this to us, and how it's not good for your health. Anyway, went to the meat shop, even there. He said like $50 for lamb chops, a kilo, $49.99, crumbed cutlets, lamb cutlets. I just went, wow. I said, I'm not having a go at you. I said, yeah. He said, yep, that's what the wholesale price has gone up to. So now you're going to find out how expensive meat's going to become in the next very short period of time, and it's going to run out because they're closing down all the depots. And the transport, and they won't get it. See, a lot of meat is still sort of, as I said, it's still the honeymoon. Once that honeymoon runs out, then you're going to find out how bad it's going to get. I've warned you. I don't want it. If you live in the city and you don't get out, you're going to get it. I'm sorry. I feel for you. Why you can still go out. I mean, South Australia, Western Australia has had no infections, but they're not opening the borders. They said, we're going to keep the borders closed for another 2 months, and the Eagles and the Dockers have to can't play at home anymore. They'll have to play all their home games interstate. See, where are the football players? They're carrying on about their flu injection. Yeah. Listen to the human rights thing, and they'll tell you they can't put anything on you, even in our constitution. Even though some people say, the Constitution doesn't mean anything. But you can still use the Constitution in the High Court. It tells you they cannot blackmail you to get anything in your body that you don't want to. They can't ostracize you. It's against our Constitution that was, when the Federation was formed. Anyway, for people that want to find out, find out. If don't, just live in the dark. I don't care. It's only one thing you get when you live in the dark. You get no sunlight and get fed bullshit. And then all you do is become a mushroom, a fungi. Anyway, it's either become a fungi or be a nice big strong oak tree and give life to a lot more living things out there. It's your choice. Okay, that's about it. So anyway, so that's what I've done today. Done a bit of, not preaching, but just handing out a bit of information, letting people aware. Do a little hints when some people, they had roped in the Westfield shopping. They had where you used to have tables still there, but they got it all roped off because you can't sit at a table. And someone was leaning on it. I just went past them. I said, "What? You're leaning too close to the virus. Can you get away?" And she looked at, she looked at me. She smiled, and the guy, I don't think he was with the fairies or somewhere else, but he didn't react straight away. But that's what you got to do, let people aware. It's a hoax. It's entrapping you and imprison you. That's all this is about. Take away your powers as a human, as a free human being, and you're just giving it away freely. It's your choice. Anyway, I'm getting fried, but I like it. Anyway, all good. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, peace out.